Greetings, my fellow Americans. This is the Base Mind, the Black American spiritual superstar, coming to you under the authority of being a Black American descendant of slavery. And our topic today, let's talk about Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, candidate for President and Vice President of the United States of America. And my question, is this a black thing? It's being presented to us as a black thing. We know it's not an ADOS thing, but is it a black thing? Well, let's start with the presidential candidate Joe Biden. I was with Jesse's campaign in '88 when he tried to run for president, or ran for president. He tried again in '08. Tried again in 2016, and he got very little traction with the black community as far as the voting support. Very little support. So what propelled him to the front of all candidates this time around? Seemingly his 8-year apprenticeship with the black president is giving him the credentials now to be the black candidate. It didn't work before. And Kamala, like I said, we know she's not ADOS, but she's Indian. Her mother's an Indian, came to America, a college student. Her father's a white Jamaican, descendant of one of the most prominent white slave owners in Jamaica. So why is that an issue? Well, India has one of the most historically notorious color caste systems. We know this. We used to call them untouchables. There are several leading tribes of India that basically are privileged. Those are the ones we see in America. And they have a total adherence to blackness and dark complexion. And many of these Indians bring that caste system, that attitude to America. Indians are knee deep in the tech industry. The H-1 visa programs bring them here, and they've gotten into the tech industry. Basically, the tech industry have been outsourced and insourced to India, and there's a movement to do it even more so. And what have we seen from that? We've seen blacks systematically pushed down, pushed out of IT opportunities and IT careers. They come here and they get the positions. Corporations love them because they're in a more vulnerable status as workers. They work cheaper wages. They're connected to the corporations with the HB1 visas and the green cards and all that, so they're less resistant. They can't argue. They can't negotiate. They're more maneuverable than the regular American worker. But what's amazing is that they brought their spouses over and concentrated on HR and administrative positions. We find a hardcore discrimination against blacks. It's just a reality that has occurred. Now, if you have a totem pole and say blacks was at the bottom of that totem pole, any effort to push that totem pole down in the ground is going to suffocate the ones at the bottom. And that just happens to be black Americans. But the powers that be, they want blacks to be focused on the gap, what we have relative to what whites have. And they want the whites to be focused on us as being a burden that's causing them to be kept down. So while we're fighting over the differences between us on this pole, the entire pole is being pushed farther and farther into the ground. Wake up, Americans. we should be evaluating Kamala strictly on her record. And it's offensive and insulting for them to play us with this black thing. We have this desire for acceptance in America. We have this desire to be recognized. So we have this thing of anybody associating or identifying with blacks just takes to our heart. I don't care if it's a white boy who turns his hat backwards and sags his pants. Oh, he likes blacks, so he's cool, he's all right. We just have that. That's just part of our nature. And what has happened is the powers to be have recognized that this society is attuned to blackness. This society has had a long period of time of watching us struggle and watching us develop integrity and watching us overcome adversity. And I'm saying that it's a black American spiritual superstar that what pushes us forward, what makes us someone to be looked up to and admired and emulated in the society is that keen spirituality and sense of wanting to please God, sense of wanting to have justice, sense of wanting to have fairness in the society. And now Massa has found a way to exploit that. He's basically, Black Lives Matter was formed because of police brutality. Kaepernick lost his career protesting police brutality against blacks. But now the whole movement has been bought, usurped, and joined with this Antifa socialist movement to undermine, destroy America values, America principles, tear down buildings, statues, disrespect leadership, authority. So they, in the name of Black Lives Matter, in the name of blacks, really what they're saying. So we got to be in tune with who we are and why people are using our name to further their objectives. Now I'm a businessman, and in business evaluations of a business, we have this concept of goodwill. What is goodwill? Well, you have these assets and you have these that you can evaluate and how much sales and all that. But a key component of a business's value is the goodwill. The name and reputation is established. The loyalty is established in its community or in its market. And that's part of what gives that business value. Well, we have 300 years of establishing goodwill in America. We have 300 years of struggle and strain and demonstrating to our fellow Americans how committed we are to law and order and justice and wanting to be, on equal terms. And that goodwill is what's being bought person. This new Massa is taking that goodwill and he's saying, here's something black. Here's somebody black. Okay? You like black, or you believe in black, you see blackness as being, something that's to be emulated. Well, let me give you black, okay? And so it's an offense. It's fake, it's phony, it's fraudulent, it's deceitful. Okay, that's just the reality. But let's just look at this candidate for her record. Her record. Who is she? We have to judge deeds. Yes, they're throwing this blackness at us like we're children. All we want to see is color and candy and sweets. That's what you do with a child. But we're not children. We should be able to look and use our minds to understand who we're dealing with, what we're dealing with. This woman came to America. Her family came to America and had her, and she was listed as a Caucasian. Unfortunately, in America today, Indians found that it was much more beneficial to be black in certain contexts. Okay, they're getting all the affirmative action and contracts that the government set aside for blacks because they're supposed to be a minority. I mean, Chinese are a minority in federal regulations. I'm like, how can the two most populous countries in the world be minorities? But they are in America. They come here and they present themselves as disadvantaged minorities. They get all the contracts that blacks supposed to be, that was set aside for blacks to be able to participate. But that's neither here nor there. Let's talk again about the candidate herself. She became a prosecutor, attorney general in California, and my goodness, she made a reputation by prosecuting weak, low-level, low-income, marginal black families and black people. That's what she built her reputation on. She was there to prove to the majority society that she would be tough and keep blacks in their place. Not only was she tough on blacks, but being an Indian, she got into a political position of power. She has sponsored rules and actions that further undermine black upward mobility. She's a sponsor that Bill 386 to just double and triple the number of Indians that can come into America and get these jobs and push that totem pole down further, harming both black and white working Americans. But that's what she's sponsoring. There's no sensitivity to blacks being at the bottom of that pole, blacks being disenfranchised, or even white Americans being displaced and disenfranchised. She's connected with the high-tech industry. She's one of their proxies in the Senate, and she's a tool of corporate greed against the American interests that our superstar president is fighting so hard to reinforce and protect. Yes, she's with Planned Parenthood and their ability, their undercover program to exterminate and eradicate the black population. She supports that. Again, she comes from a culture that really looks down at blackness, period. That's unfortunate. But we even looking at her record, we have to understand our own subtle emotions. We're not color conscious like that. The fact is, on the plantation, Massa could have children, mulatto children, lighters, I don't know what they would put out in the field, and they were there working right along with us. We were all slaves. We were all called niggers. That's just the way it was. Okay? So we're not color conscious. So when I talk about Kamala Harris not being black, I'm not fussing about her light complexion. I'm fussing about the state of mind, the mentality that is being presented to us and put to us as being black, to support an agenda that goes against everything that we are striving to achieve and that we have worked so hard to establish for ourselves here in America. My fellow Americans, in this day and this time, there's a struggle going on for America's soul. But we're fortunate. We have a superstar president. A president who's a refugee from the wealth class. Yes, he's a refugee. He walked away from the privilege that he was enjoying and decided to put himself in a pressure cooker to help make America great. And it's unfortunate that when he reached out to the black community, when he first became president, he reached out and said, "You're Americans, you're part of what the equation here. What can I do to make things better?" This happened. But our political leadership, so-called Black Congressional Caucus, denied him that opportunity to work with them. They basically said, Massa Schumer and Massa Pelosi said, we're not supposed to talk to you yet. So you stay back, step back. We're not with your program. Okay, this is a fact. This is just true. This is true how these individuals have used blackness to support an agenda that does not necessarily support what's best for this country or for what's best for blacks. All this racial conflict, oppression, all this stuff that they're pushing, it's amazing that so much of it is being blamed on a president who's been in politics for less than 4 years. But the key components and opponents of the president have been in politics for 30, 35 years. Biden has been in politics for over 40 years. But no, it's all supposed to be on the blame of the one individual who stood up and said, I believe I can lead America to a better future. My fellow Americans, my fellow Black Americans, we can do better. We don't have to be treated like kindergartners. We can do better and look at what's going on and do our part to lead the society to a better America. Please go to my channel on YouTube. Go to my website, thebasemind.com. Subscribe. And if you believe that there is a spiritual reckoning in the Black community that can help us through these dark times in this nation, if you believe that this nation has a manifest destiny to be a leadership and a support and a guide, an example of how to achieve prosperity on this planet, and if you believe that there is a God, there is a creator, and he can gift us with direction and insight and inspiration to achieve a more godlike society, then help me help us. Let's support this message, support this light, and make it real for all of us, and for our children and our grandchildren. Yeah, thank you so very much for this audience. God bless you. God bless America. And God bless his believers. Thank you.